Hey guys, welcome back to the Joe Subcareer channel. I'm Joe. Oh, nice to meet you. And before, we start the video, for like the third time, my last name is pronounced Gur. Um, for anybody who ever wonders or shouts me out or anything, it's Gur, like Gur. That's how it's pronounced. Nothing like a pet peeve of mine, it's just some people don't know how to pronounce my name. But, back, I got some shit to talk about. Um, But first, let's pack us a fucking lip. I already got a lip in, so I'm gonna pack in a flavor saver, a little killer filler. So if you're gonna pack a lip with me. I know this is kind of early, too soon to make a video. Some people would say it's too soon, but fuck it, right? It's the shit on. I got shit up top there. I've been watching some videos, but I'll get more into that after we do this. All right, so there's a little flavor saver right there. So I can rip that shit off. The fucking good thing about being in the shitter is I got a fucking towel, or I got TP, see if I need to wipe my face because I got dip drill coming out of my mouth. Here's something. Okay, I've been getting caught up on y'all's videos, and some topics and shit I've come across that I want to discuss on a video, and they're fresh up in my brain. Now, I have a lot of shit to talk about that I've missed over the past 3 to 4 months. Now, first of all, a big shout out to Big Dipper Zach. That's how you pronounce my name, is Gur. Um, Thanks for the shout out, buddy. He's one of the people that have brought up some of the topics that I want to talk about. Him, Chub Fucker, Chub Fucker, Michigan Dipper, and Full Review even brought a topic up. Let's talk with Full Review. He's the one that has, who's brought up the first one and the easiest one to talk about. And the one that's not so drawn out. But anyways, if you guys don't know who Full Review is, he's a great guy. He does reviews on all dip related things. If you can put it in your lip, he's done a video on it, or he's done a video on it already, or he will do a video on it here, when he gets around to it. He's done anything from dips, snuff, pouches, chews, like back off type of shit, stuff that's dipped that doesn't have tobacco or nicotine in it, herbal snuff is what we'll call it, herbal snuff. If you need someone to point you in a direction, like give you a kind of a hint of what a dip or a chew or an herbal snuff or snuff is going to taste like, go watch his channel. Check him out. Regardless, but go check him out. He makes great fucking reviews. Great guy all around. But back onto the topic. Now, if you guys don't know who Tow Truck and Dipper is, go check him out. I don't know his full YouTube channel. Just type in Tow Truck and Dipper, all one word. I don't think anything's capitalized. If it is, it's there's a big T. But he makes great videos, and he shouted me out in a video, if I remember correctly. Yeah, when I first subscribed to him, and I think he's watched a few of my videos. And I don't remember if he commented this. I don't think so, but I think it was in one of his videos. And I just clicked once Full Review said something about it. Me and Tow Truck and Dipper live in the same state. Tow Truck and Dipper lives in Idaho. Now I've watched his videos, and I don't know if he's made a new one yet. He's on my list to get to, but he's mentioned some places I've been, and I'm like, what the hell? You know, that's some place I've been, and I know where that is. So that's pretty cool, you know. He's like one of the major guys, you know, on YouTube that isn't like, you know, he isn't as big as Outlaw, but in the dip community, he's a big player on the YouTube dipping community. So, if you haven't, go check him out. He's a pretty cool guy. He's great to watch. He always makes funny videos. He makes funny videos, and he comes up with some good topics to talk about, like a lot of these other guys I've mentioned. No, like, okay, let's first start on the spitter, alright? I'm spitting in Woody, my mud jug. Alright, Big Dipper Zag brought this up, and so has, Chub Fucka, and, a lot of the other guys. It doesn't matter what you're spitting. For the love of God, don't, don't put dippers on a one thing, on, like, if you're not a real dipper if you're not spitting in a mud jug, or you're not a real dipper if you're spitting in a spit bud. That shit's fucking ridiculous. You're supposed to be an adult to buy this. I mean, we got 15-year-olds, but the good majority of us aren't in fucking high school anymore. Don't put people in cliques. That's fucking ridiculous. You'd think, you know, people would be growing out of it, but they're not. Shit's kind of ridiculous. Me, I don't always spit in my mud jug. On my earlier videos, you guys will see me spitting in a can and in a bottle. Why? That's usually because I'm a fat fuck and I'm lazy and I just didn't want to clean my mud jug. And then I don't always spit in my mud jug because sometimes, like, I'll leave it at my house and I won't bring it, so I'll spit in an empty bottle that's in the car. Or I'll spit in a can that's empty. You know, I just spit in whatever is available. Hell, I even spit in napkins if need be. Or when my mom was bowling and I'd go watch her, Chub Fucka, Chubbs brought this up in one of his videos that, you know, you buy those refillable, you know, cups that you get at like restaurants, you know, that you take out, or even, you know, when you go to eat out. You know, I spit nose quite a bit. You know, I didn't put a napkin underneath because most of the time I was close by to a trash can, so whenever I needed to take out a dip, you know, I just tossed it away. It never sat in for very long. But don't put that on there, and it shouldn't matter what you spit in. I have an uncle who's dipped longer than most people, and he bought one of those dollar spit cup. He bought a few of those dollar spit cups that you find at any truck stop, you know, or even at a dollar store or whatnot. And he's spatting those for a long time. Spits in those, like if he's in a car, he has one in his car. You know, that he's still a dipper in my eyes because, for one, he's dipped longer than most people I know, and two, you know, it really doesn't matter what you spit in. There's the same with dip. I hate that. Now I saw that a lot on like the Facebook groups. Doesn't matter what fucking brand you spit in. You gotta pay for it. I mean, and you're the one that's dipping it. Why should someone else have influence over what you spit in or what you're dipping on? Michigan Dipper brought this up as well. In one of his, I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago video. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't let someone, Joe fucker, explained all this. It shouldn't matter what you're spitting and what you're dipping as long as you're happy doing it. That's one thing I really hate. You know, I like the product Mud Jug. I don't support just one. I don't go, oh, Mud Jug's the best. I mean, it survived my happy ass going as drop dead. And, I like the product. I haven't tried Spit Bud, so I don't honestly know, but I've spit in those dollars. Spit cups, and my only complaint about that is if it falls, you're fucked. You gotta clean up fucking dip spit, and that's a bitch to clean up. We all know that one. But don't try to label. Don't try to put one. You're not a dipper if you don't dip this. You're not a real dipper if you don't spit in this or dip this. That's kind of fucking retarded. I mean, that's high school bullshit, and should not be uttered or mentioned, or in an adult world. All right. So that's what I gotta say about that. And you guys heard my spiel on, all that brand shit, and I just think it's kind of ridiculous. Just use what you like. I mean, ultimately, it's your cash. You gotta buy it. You gotta live with it. Do what's best for you and what's happy for you, and what you're gonna be happy with. And I agree with all those guys that have said that. I touched on that subject quite a lot in my earlier videos before this war started. I was kind of ahead of the game on that. And then another thing. Alright, this does not choose genders, alright? This does not go, hey, this does not choose race, religion, gender, or part of where you come from. It's just happy being put in the lip, alright? Why do we gotta do that, Why do dippers have to do that? I mean, shouldn't matter what color your skin is, what race you are, where you're from, what gender you are, what church you go to, or what religion you go to. Why do we have to put that? Why do people? Why do people have to do that to people? I mean, if you look back in history, the two biggest things that caused wars was race and religion. Other than where you're from, but most of the wars were caused by those two things. And look at the holy wars. I mean, those are over a place and a religion. We got, Christianity was like, we need that place. That's where the Christ was, where Christ was, crucified and whatnot. Matter of fact, this is where Christianity was, where it popped up, where the Vatican was, Rome. That's where they crucified Jesus. How crazy is that? And you know what? When they went over to the Middle East and did all that, they found a wealth of knowledge from all across the world, all across where because Middle East used to be the center point for trade routes, and things that the Roman Empire and stuff that had been lost for centuries. They found it there, and that those people that they called infidels and hated so much had kept up and was using in their daily lives. Algebra. Now, if you guys don't know how algebra and shit got started, it was started by a Greek. I think his name was Copernicus. But algebra was started back Greeks. I mean, Greeks started a lot of shit. And like the Persians, I mean, they mostly had the Middle East for a long time, and they gathered knowledge and whatnot from all the places they had, because they saw that as an opportunity, as one of the golden nuggets of where they conquered. And they brought that to the focal point, and it was there. And that's what happened. We found more knowledge in that, but it was started over hate. There shouldn't be hate in this community. It should be brotherhood. I mean, if this doesn't choose color, race, religion, where you're from, why do we? That's what I don't understand. If you're a dipper, you're a dipper. Don't matter what skin color, where you come from, what religion you are. What does it matter? Hell, I say fuck it. And that goes along with political correctness. And you mostly find that here, alright? In one of the biggest metropolitan countries in the fucking world. We got, we got just about everybody. Why? Because, you know, Michigan Dipper was talking about this. You know, and this is his topic. If you haven't checked him out, go check him out. He's a great guy to watch. He makes great vids, and he talks about a lot of cool topics that have a really meaningful message. This is one of the topics he's talking about: political correctness. All right, you go. We have the most diverse group of people in our entire lives. This also goes in the entire world. You can find the whole spectrum of races in America. And this goes with racism. If you're white, you better check yourself, all right, buddy? Get your DNA and your genome mapped, because I can tell you for sure that we all started from one central person. And then this is another. I love history, and this is how I think, and I look back. I see people in today's society. They always look to the future, and they always see future problems, but they never look at the past. I'll tell you this right now. The past can answer a lot of questions we have and solve a lot of problems we have. Why? Because you think okay, look at the recession. We're going through a recession right now. Look at the recession. That's fucking already happened. It happened in the 1930s, for Christ's sake. The Dust Bowl, the Depression. You know what? If you don't know what those things are, look them up and look how we survived that. We didn't survive. We survived that because we came together. There was, you heard about, there was a little bit of racism, but one thing that a lot of people fear about America. Now, Americans really need to take heed of this and you hear a lot of comedians speak about this shit. Sorry, I gotta sit up here a little bit. You hear a lot of comedians and other people say this, but a lot of the general populace does not take this to heart. Alright, the reason why we're a big superpower isn't because of our military. Hell, that's only a fraction of the American people. Now, don't get me wrong, those guys fight and do amazing stuff, and I'm grateful to have them, but that's not what makes us a superpower. It's the American people themselves, alright? If take 9/11, right? What the hell happened in 9/11? You hear all theories, but what went on in those planes, right? Now, you saw what it did to the American people, to us. The American people, it brought us closer together. And we banded together. If you ever have a chance, look up in history. I think I've talked about this. I've talked about this outside of YouTube. But if you ever look in an encyclopedia or, search up history, look up World War II, alright? The attack on Pearl Harbor. Now, you may not, if you guys don't know, you guys haven't learned this, there was a great Japanese general who came over here, and this is during the whole fight of Pearl Harbor. He's, because some of the bombers and stuff, they ejected and landed in Hawaii. And what they saw was crazy. They said it was worse than anything they've ever seen. But one of the greatest things they've ever seen, too. This general was like, when I went over there and I saw something so marvelous that it scared the living shit out of me. He's like, some of those people that were fighting against us weren't even soldiers. They were Americans, American civilians. And he said, there will be no one greater than the American people. That's why America will never get invaded on their home turf. He's like, because of what I saw then. And he's like, that was one of the greatest sights and one of the scariest sights I've ever seen. He's like, when we invaded there, I saw some of my best men get tore down by the American people. We invaded their home and they came back at us at full force. We came knocking at their door. They were standing behind that door going, you better not fucking come in here or else we'll kick your fucking ass back across the ocean. And that's what he saw. And it terrified the fuck out of him. As he saw his comrades get beat the living shit out, killed by not American soldiers, by American people. And he said that's why Americans won't ever get attacked. It's not because of the size of their military or their military power. It's because of the American people themselves. He said, come hell to high water, if a foreign nation were to step foot on American soil, you would have an army larger than any army that any country has ever seen. And he's like, the American people gather. And that's why people come to this country, because they see that. They see a land of opportunity, but also a land that's willing to give them a better life than what they do. And that's why people love America so much outside of the foreign. Yes, we started belligerent battles over nothing. And, here's another great thing. If you haven't, it's a spoken poem. It's a spoken word poem. If you haven't, go watch this. It's called 4 Minutes, 4 Minutes in America, 4 Minutes of America. And it explains why, America is so great, but also has its shortcomings. Like our government. Our government's one of the biggest shortcomings we got. Why? Because we tend to put idiots in there. And people love to blame the government for everything. What you guys gotta realize is we're the ones that put those fuckers in there. What does that say about us if, we bitch and complain about Obama? But Obama didn't get in there because, the office elected him in there. He got in there because we elected him in there. And our government isn't centered around the president. It's centered around our government in general. So like our House of Senate, alright? And our House of Legislation. And the judicial system. They can't do the government can't do anything that goes against our laws set by our forefathers. Yeah, the government overrides that and goes around it because they found loopholes. But ultimately, they can't do anything that goes against our rights or anything else. They may try, but the judicial system was set up back in the day to stop that and fight for our deals. But we also, that's not also that's one of the safeguards they put in there. But the first and foremost safeguard they put in against tyranny, our forefathers put on there, and people forget this, is us, the American people. We elect those guys in there. We make fun of them. You may have not elected him specifically, or those guys specifically, but the majority of us did. So before you start cracking down or saying this guy's, I don't like our government, well then you can change that and try to change that. We as a people come together. If we get a big enough group of people that, do it, we can make a change. And that's what's got to happen. We as the American people, like that great Japanese general saw, has to come together. Not just during the time of war, but in the time of peace, in the time of prosperity, and in the time of suffering and depression. And that's what the American people forget. That's what, if anything, I'd like to add that to what Michigan Dipper said. And, that also, in this country, you can't be racist. Absolutely ridiculous to be racist. Um, and it should be gone. My grandma grew up back in the Great Depression, and when a lot of racism was still as was more vibrant in the country. She grew up during that time. But one thing is she grew up in a great family that taught her right from wrong and not to judge people based on their religion, the color of their skin, their sex, their gender. Judge them by their character. And that's what we need. She always told me, I never want to catch you judging someone based on their skin color or their religion or their gender. Because that's not who they are. Their character is who they are. And she's like, if there's one thing that would make this country even better is we round up all the race people. And I'm sorry, this is her own personal opinion, and I agree with this. We should take all the racist people and send them on an island and just blow that fucker up, because that would save us a lot of heartache. Because some of those guys are the reason that we come unglued a little bit. And it's not just white people, I'll tell you that. White people aren't the only racist people. I mean, you go and you have, like, this is not politically correct, but black people. You have black people cracking, being racist against white people and stuff. And you also have Asians. You have a whole load of them being racist against everybody and, everything. I mean, it's okay to be racial, to hate everybody, no matter what. And that's kind of, it's kind of how I am. I see everybody for their character, not that. And if I don't like it, it's not going to be because your religion, your race, or your gender. It's because I don't like your character, period. And that's what we got to start doing. We got to start judging people by their character, not by any other source. And that's what we're missing here today. And that's what, is wrong with our country. And aside from wanting to put the blame on other people instead of ourselves. Because I'll tell you this, the reason America is the way it is because we let it happen. We can't blame other people who we say run our country when our country is based all around us. Alright, we got to put them in there. We can take them out. So when you guys are cracking down on the government and whatnot and saying that, think about it first. Alright, that's one thing I wanna put out there. Think before you speak. Think before you act. Think before you do. Because that's one thing that's driving this country down into the shitter. And, that's one thing that's driving one of the things that's driving, I've heard people say the dipping community is dying. That's the reason. It's because people don't think. There's no common sense up there. And touch on the political correctness. Sorry, I'm adjusting myself. That's another thing with political correctness. Why do we have to be politically correct? In my mind, I watch comedy. Larry the Cable Guy and Ralphie May. There's another topic from Michigan Dipper. I watch a lot of those guys. And they tend to have the same beliefs as I do. And if you live here, you're an American, all right? And America is the only place you can specifically be called an American, no matter what race you are, or where you come from, or what religion you are, or what gender you are. If you live here, you're an American. Period. End of story. And that's how I think it should be. There shouldn't be no such thing as African American or Asian American or Indian American or anything other than that. I mean, unless you moved here, all right, and that's what you want to be called. Now, you have freedom to be called what you want, but to me, if you live here, you're an American. I mean, this is the only country you can do that with. I mean, say if you're white or you're black or you're Asian, you can't go down to Mexico and expect and live there and expect to be called Mexican. So America's the only place they can do it, and that's why it's so goddamn great. Is because you don't. There really shouldn't be any fighting over that type of shit, and it's bullshit. And I think it's really fucked up, and I think it shouldn't be that way, because that's high school bullshit, and I don't understand why people do that. And same with, the brand subject, or your spitter. And that's what's driving this country down into the shitter. That's, in the story, that's what it's doing. And that's why we have so many problems as we do as a great country, as a great country as we are. So, that's my tidbits. If you want to hear more, this is getting pretty long. Do it in the comment section, and I'll give you my 2 cents, and that's a little bit easier. If you want to know more about my opinion and my perspective, please comment down below about it. If you have any questions to ask me, please comment them down below. Big shout out to all those guys. They're great YouTubers, great people to watch. Lots of fun and lots of laughs to have. Nothing about racism. I don't affiliate with racism. I hate everybody equally, and I love everybody equally. If I hate you, that depends on your character, like I said. That's what I got. If you have, like I said, if you got anything you want to add to that, put down in the comments. If you got any questions for me, put them down in the comments. If you got any, just, write down below, because this is getting a little too long. And, well, anyways, I'm going to leave you off, like I said, in this. So, watch all those guys, the great guys if you follow through this video. And always remember to keep a lip pack and a can handy, because life is better with a pinch. See you all.